WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from Texas. Texas Legation. Ooh, batch 2. So this is actually a Texas whiskey bottled in London, or not London, in the UK and England. And this is from Berry Brothers and Rudd. Now this is batch 2, so I'm going to pour a little bit in the bottle here. Batch number 1 was 2016, batch number 2 was 2018. We now have the summer, basically, of 2021, and I just found out there are casks going over to Berry Brothers and Rudd again from Ironroot, and there will be a batch number 3, apparently. Yay! So batch number 1 was 46%. This is 46.2. Yay! There was 2,000 bottles in batch number 1. I did a video only in German about it, and this has 5,000 bottles. Yay! This is about 50 euros over here in Germany. The other one was also very expensive because I bought it directly from the UK. I don't even think batch number 1 made it to Germany. And we'll see what happens here in the future. Legation. What is a legation? Legation is, I know what an embassy is, I know what a consulate is, and I don't know what a legation is. All right, go back in the history of Texas between 1836 and 1845. I hope I get my numbers right. Forgive me for anyone in Texas. Texas was a republic. They were not yet part of the United States of America. That happened afterwards. And in 1842, what they did basically was they established in London a semi-embassy type of thing. They called it a legation. There's actually, here's the plaque on the wall. Don't know if you can read this or not, but this is actually on the wall of St. James Street, number 3 in London, England. And it commemorates the legation. And same place is basically Berry Brothers and Rudd, a wine distributor, a wine dealer that actually has gotten into whiskey a lot in the last 100-some years. And they're doing very, very good things. Now, going back to Ironroot, why is Ironroot Republic called Ironroot? Well, there was something called, and I'm very, very bad with my pronunciation here, that was called, I'm going to listen to this as well. So, phylloxera. Haha, I'm not good at this. Phylloxera. That was a tiny little lice, basically, that made it from North America over to Europe, and it devastated the cognac crops of France, and even also the sherry and the port crops in Spain and Portugal later on. So there was this guy, Mr. T.V. Munson from Denison, Texas. Oh, by the way, Denison, Texas is the birthplace of Dwight D. Eisenhower, our former president. And T.V. Munson actually figured out that if you take the Texas, basically Ironroot, the bottom part of a wine plant, and you actually insert surgically, I'm going to call it, then the French wine plants on top of that. You have the base, which is resistant to this disease, and on top you have the wonderful grapes that they needed for their European wines. And therefore there's a sister city, sister city with cognac in France with Denison, Texas. And Jonathan and Robert Licorice, together with their mom, what was she called? The lady or the mom of Texas whiskey. They had actually connections to cognac. They learned a lot about cognac, and they brought that back over to America, that knowledge, and they implemented it and used that here for their bourbon, which was bourbon of the year or whiskey of the year or something of the year a couple of years ago. And since then, they've basically been sold out. So it's very difficult to get your hands on anything from Ironroot unless you're lucky enough to live close by. So Berry Brothers Rudd actually just did this cooperation with them. It worked out. This is Whiskybase number 110798. As I said, I paid about 50 euros for this, 5,000 bottles worldwide. Yeah, that's the way it looks. Tiny little thing I must actually comment on, if I may. It says here, the brothers Robert and Jonathan Licorice, whose craft distillery was founded in 2013. If I go over here to the ironrootrepublic.com/r-story, it says actually the distillery was finally opened in 2014. Now, I don't want to be too nitpicky, but Yes, I know. 2011, they started thinking about that and they started pursuing the distilling thing, and they decided to put down their distilling roots in Denison, Texas, about 90 miles north or 90 minutes north of Dallas, Texas. And so there's a time period in between where there was the building, where there was things going on, and the opening of the building. So that's that. All right, I'm going to compare this, which I do in all my videos, or most of my videos, and this is going to be with something that we can get over here in Europe once again. This is the 1 liter travel retail of Buffalo Trace, which is 45%. Now, we have a little bit of a problem over here in Germany, or in Europe, let's just call it that. We get Buffalo Trace at 40%. Yeah. Has to do with historical tax reasons and so on. And so our Buffalo Trace over here in Europe is 40%, unless you buy the travel retail 1 liter bottle, which is 45%. So I always try to buy the 45% if I can get it. So this is going to be my comparison. This is 46.2. Another thing that I want to mention that I thought was interesting, if I may, according to my understanding of bourbon, there has to be an age statement on it if it is under 4 years. If it is between 2 and 4, you have to put an age statement on as well because it's straight. Well, if you want to call it straight, between 2 and 4, you have to put an age statement on as well. And any bourbon under 4 years needs to have an age statement. There is not an age statement on this. I do not believe that the whiskey here from the year 2018 was 4 years old. Especially since I just started Distillery, basically then in 2014. So, where's the age statement, guys? I don't know. Now, maybe one of the rules is, hey, this was not bottled in the U.S., therefore we don't have to follow American laws. But on the other hand, bourbon is a protected name of the U.S., and therefore I think you should follow the rules of the U.S. Or am I wrong? All right. So even though it was bottled in the UK. All right, very good. It is a 700 milliliter bottle, and it does say product of the US, but bottled in the UK. All right, very, very good. Let's compare the two of them. All right, so I get a lot of sweet wood over here. I don't know if you've had sweet wood tea. I really like that a lot. This has a little bit more of a wood and astringency moment to this. This over here is actually a straight bourbon, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. This has a little bit more of a sweetness to it. It has a little bit more of the cinnamon, a little bit, tiny bit more of, for me, tobacco leaves, and a tiny little bit here of pecans. I found something out just the other day. Did you know there are 40 different types of pecans in the United States? I did not. I was watching Smarter Every Day on YouTube, a guy who I like, and I've watched many of his videos before. And he's actually had this machine that shaked the pecan trees, and they talked about the different types of pecans. I did not know, but I was like, come on, Jason, think about it. You have different types of potatoes, you have different types of peas, you have different types of oranges. Why don't you have different types of pecans? Big ones, small ones, very meaty ones, very, very sweet ones, a lot. Just very great flavors, not so great flavors. Who would have thought? I should have known. All right, so I get a little bit of pecan on here as well. All right, 46.2%. Cheers. I do remember tasting batch one. I just rewatched my video of that. This is so much better. I remember going, ooh, it's so young, it's so young. No, no youthfulness at all here. It's a good whiskey. It's a solid whiskey. It's a little bit more towards a darker type of brown moment. Here I get more brown sugar. Here I get a little bit more molasses. Here I get a little bit more of a leather type of moment and a tiny little bit of tobacco and pecans. And over here I get a little bit more of that sweet wood moment. There's more astringency here. There's more wood. There's more drying out of the mouth. Is it a good whiskey? Yes. This is actually, for me, a C type of whiskey. This is nothing I'm going to write home about, especially since it's a 50 euro bottle. I'm going to give it actually a D plus for the value for money. I don't think this is worth it. Uniqueness. Oh, uniqueness. I'm very good at getting unique bottles here. One of 5,000 bottles, a Texas whiskey bottled in UK. Never happened before. This is one of the very few things. Batch 1, 2, and hopefully 3 will be coming soon. I have to give this actually like an A for uniqueness. This is very, very cool. Value for money for uniqueness, not bad actually. All right, value for money for taste experience. Well, okay. My proposition or my recommendation is, sorry guys, Balcones. Balcones has an importer. Balcones is in Europe, so you can get the pot still bourbon, you can get the single malt, you can get baby blue, you can get a lot of different things from Balcones. You cannot get hardly anything from Ironroot over here. People have smuggled in a few bottles individually, but there is no importer yet because, according to my information from Jonathan and Robert Licorice, they can't even satisfy the demand for the US. Why think about going abroad then? Um, if they're looking for an importer for bourbon over to UK, I am very, very sure that my partners N10 Bourbon would love to be your importer and bring the stuff to the UK and also to mainland Europe. Um, Give me a call, whiskeyjason@gmail.com. We'll set something up and make it happen. All right, over here, the Bubble Trace bourbon is just for me the more classic bourbon. Mhm. There's a little bit more of a sweetness in this. There's a little bit more of those allspice in this. 45%, absolutely perfect, and the price is basically half. And I get the 1 liter bottle instead of the 0.7 liter bottle as well for that same price. So the value for money, I must admit, I take a Buffalo Trace any day of the week. I take a Eagle Rare 10 any day of the week over a Buffalo Trace, and so on, moving up that Buffalo Trace pole or whatever you want to call it. Um, Not bad, not bad, not bad. I shared this bottle already, so this is actually a bottle share and it's gone. Buffalo Trace, please continue sending your products to Europe, please, please, please. Brown Foreman, continue sending your products to Europe, please, please, please. And all the other big boys out there and small boys also try to send some products over here from the States over to Europe. We have a a community that's starting to love also some of these some of these craft bourbons, some of these craft distilleries from the States, but we don't see very many of them. So hopefully by the time my video is online or soon afterwards, all these tariff fights are over and we can finally get back to doing the thing we love, tasting and sharing our bourbons. Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. This time something from Texas, bottled in the UK. Thank you very much for watching, for listening. And my question of the day is, what is your favorite Texas bourbon? Yay! Or Texas whiskey. Let's just call it Texas whiskey. All the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.